of any man what God has prepared for them that love him. If you know that's your reality, let me ask you that question. Asatataya, Ekoparata, how will you shout, scream, jump, celebrate if the Lord has said? Tell your neighbor, great things are happening. Celebrate the Lord as we make welcome Saida Al-Hassan, Taiwo Enitan, and Faith Ogumboale. Please celebrate the Lord. What did the Lord do for you?
Good morning, church. I'm short of words, but I think I will just give a brief story. Everything I've done for the past 10 years have never succeeded. I was a Muslim. Thank God now I'm in Christ. Yeah. So I felt like I got married in 2020 just after the lockdown lifted up. Movement started. I got married November 2020, and then the marriage failed. I went through everything in 1 year, but I came out with pregnancy from the marriage, so I'm a single mom now, but fully divorced. So going through life, coming back to Nigeria after all of that with pregnancy, I went through pregnancy alone. Everything was just bad, and I moved from town to Dutse Alaji just to secure a place for me and my niece, my brother, and my child. So everything I've done, I went into property. I'm doing skincare. I do home services for spa services. I ran a cafeteria in the school here in Area 11. Nothing was working. I shut down the cafeteria. Real estate, nobody was calling me. I will show 10 houses. Nobody is calling for any of them. Nobody buys, nobody rents. So I was going through difficulties, and then there was a darkness over my head. I was going through difficulties in my mind, darkness everywhere. I go to sleep, I can't sleep. I was confused. But then all those negativity, thought of death and everything was coming into reality. I came home September last year. I just drove into the compound. My son was at the back seat, and then before I knew it, I closed the gate, and the gate fell on me. My neighbors came, raised the gate up. A neighbor of mine came, Ruth, God bless her. She came to my room and she was massaging the wound behind my back, and I was crying. And I said, Ruth, this cry is not coming from the wound. It's coming from what is inside me. I wish somebody can see what I am feeling, because I have thought of death, negativity everywhere. Nothing is working. So she said, I know you're a Muslim, but can I introduce you to NSPPD? I said, yes, please. So she introduced me to NSPPD. And then, I forgot one thing. I was also smoking, because that's where I run to when I'm in that negativity. I run to smoking. Even if I don't have money, I'll borrow 200 naira to buy cigarette and smoke. So during that period, I started following NSPPD. The first day I followed NSPPD, I heard Papa saying, any negativity inside you, get out, fire. I say no. I said, what? So there's a solution somewhere. So I started, fire. I say no. Fire. I say no. My neighbor started complaining. You are disturbing us. A neighbor came. Actually, they are Christians. All my neighbors are Christians, but one came to the door and knocked one day and said, people are complaining, you are shouting. There was something inside of me that needed to shout. So I said, it is working. If they are complaining, it is working. So that same week, I increased my volume. Fire. I say no. Negativity, no. Get out. Turn around. Everything Papa say, I say. Jump, I jump. So I now realized that the center is even in Abuja. I said, okay. And then I don't even know how sometimes my car is a Camry pencil. Sometimes when I'm driving, it makes a lot of noise. I will drive here and drive home, I laid everything on this altar. I crawled into this altar. And then when the fasting started, before then, my second week was into December when I started thinking, because I was praying 5 times a day as a Muslim. So I was confused in the whole process. So I said, okay, God, please. On the 3rd of December was the first service here. So I couldn't make it to church, because then I had not started coming to church, because I would do an SPPD in the morning and then I will pray my daily Muslim prayers. So that night, after Papa preaching, I followed an SPPD that day. So at night, I sat down in my room and I said, God, please help me. If you want me to worship you through Christ, put it in the mouth of your servant and let him declare through this transition. Let me just even know that you sent me a word. So I followed an SPPD on the 4th of that following Monday. And then before the prayer was over, Papa said, I don't know who you are, but God said, I will do for you what no man can do. And I've lived the ways of men. I will help you through this transition. I put my knees on the floor and I gave my life to Christ. And ever since then, things, wonders have been happening. Wonders has been happening, brethren. You know? So that week, like what Papa just said this morning, he said it happens behind the scene. That week, I said I'm sealing my covenant with God through 7 days prayer, fasting 6 to 6. I did that. I sealed my covenant. I started coming to church here. So my first service in this church was when Papa declared here the preaching about the prodigal son, the Yarrow Akuya. I was sitting right there, and I said, this is my story, because my dad was a pastor. He married 3 wives and gave his life to Christ. But then I still follow the path of Islam. But today, God has called me home, and he has promised me that he's going to do everything that I've asked. So I said, God, my mom is living in a chadad house in the village, and there's no rain. I don't want rain to meet her this year before the end the first quarter. So even before I get there, the fasting started. So I laid all of that during the fasting. And then Papa was saying he's going to fast from 21 days to 40 days to March. I said, God, give me the grace. So I continue mine to 40 days. So on the 40th of my fasting was on a Friday, 16th of February. I was here praying. Papa was on the altar. And then I didn't know what happened. I just felt light. Something loose from my feet. And I fell to the floor. And it was only my voice I could hear. I could speak in tongues. I was speaking 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 in tongues. And then, since then, it has been wonders. Non-stop wonders. People call me, Sada, do you have a house for rent? I said yes. Sada, do you have a property for sale? It's been on and on and on and on and on and on. Then my mother's house has been fixed before the end of first quarter. She's no more complaining of headache, fever, because she's already in a good, clean house. Now, brethren, when I started, the first week I started following NSPPD, that I gave my life to Christ on the 4th of December. On the 8th of that same week, my landlord sent me a message and said, I give you quick notice as a guest, July 11th is when, last month is when my rent would expire. But since December, they gave me a quick notice. I knelt down in my room, behind the scene. I told God, I said, God, give me my own. And God gave me my house. From Duse Alaji to Life Camp, I have a house, my own house, a shelter from God. I have no one in this town except God. Now the Lord has seen me. El-Roi has seen me. Heaven and earth will see that I finally seen the God that seen me. No more smoking. No more darkness. I sleep like a baby. I am fasting. This month, till the end of this month, I will fast. I will pray to God. I've given my life to Christ. And the Lord, the world will see that I finally seen the God that sees me. Thank you.
Are you just looking like that? Are you just looking like that? You don't understand. From